In a vast kingdom where the sun painted the skies in hues of amber and gold, King Obafemi ruled over a land that was as rich in culture as it was in beauty. His people thrived under his wise and just rule, and every village from the northern hills to the southern rivers adored him. Yet, King Obafemi's most treasured possession was neither his vast wealth nor his glorious lands. It was his only daughter, Princess Amina. Princess Amina was more than just a beauty with skin that glistened like polished ebony and eyes as deep as the night sky. She was known for her kindness, intelligence, and a laugh that brought warmth to even the coldest hearts. Suitors from every corner of the realm and far beyond came to seek her hand. They brought gifts of dazzling jewels, rare silks, and exotic spices, hoping to win the favor of the king and his beloved daughter. But King Obafemi would not be swayed by mere wealth. He sought a man worthy of Amina's heart, a man who was courageous, wise, and honorable. And so, the king announced a challenge that would test even the bravest soul. He who wishes to marry my daughter must bring me the golden feather of the mighty eagle, which dwells atop the treacherous peak of Mount Zuma. Mount Zuma was a place shrouded in legend. It was said that the mighty eagle was no ordinary creature. It was a guardian of ancient secrets, fiercely protective of its golden feather. Many who had attempted to claim it had vanished without a trace. The king's decree sent whispers through the land, and fear crept into the hearts of many. Only those truly brave would dare to accept such a challenge. In a humble village at the kingdom's edge lived Kofi, a young man of exceptional strength and an even greater heart. Unlike the other suitors, Kofi had no riches to offer. His home was modest, and his possessions few. But he was known throughout his village for his bravery, integrity, and selflessness. Kofi had long admired Princess Amina, not for her beauty alone, but for the tales of her compassion and grace. When he heard of the king's challenge, he knew that this was his chance, not to gain wealth or status, but to prove his worthiness. The night before his departure, the village gathered to bless him. Elders placed their hands upon his head, murmuring prayers for protection. Mothers offered him charms and herbs for strength, and children, with eyes wide with admiration, promised to keep his spirit in their thoughts. Kofi's mother pressed a small, intricately woven pouch of dried fruits into his hands. "To sustain you when the road is harsh," she said, tears glistening in her eyes. At dawn, Kofi set out, his only weapons a sturdy spear and the determination burning in his heart. His journey began through sun-scorched plains, where the heat shimmered and cracked the earth. As night fell, he found shelter beneath the great baobab tree. There, in the heart of the wilderness, danger awaited. A low growl pierced the silence. Emerging from the shadows was a lion, its mane thick and golden, its eyes blazing like embers. The beast approached slowly, muscles rippling beneath its tawny fur. Kofi's grip tightened on his spear, but he made no move to attack. Instead, he met the lion's gaze and spoke calmly, his voice steady and unyielding. "I mean no harm, Great One." The lion paused, its ears twitching. Slowly, it stepped back, acknowledging Kofi's courage before disappearing into the darkness. Kofi, though shaken, knew this was only the beginning of his trials. Kofi pressed on, crossing through forests dense with towering trees and vines that wove an impenetrable canopy. Here, the air was thick, and every shadow seemed to harbor a hidden danger. One day, as he made his way along a narrow path, he heard a faint cry. Following the sound, he discovered a fox, its leg caught in a cruel hunter's trap. The fox's eyes glimmered with pain and fear. "Please release me," the fox pleaded, its voice soft and trembling. Moved by compassion, Kofi knelt and carefully pried the jaws of the trap open, freeing the creature. "You are safe now," he said gently. The fox, limping slightly, thanked Kofi and promised, "I will guide you through these lands. My cunning and knowledge may yet prove useful." Together, they continued their journey. The fox's keen senses warned Kofi of hidden dangers, traps set by unseen foes, predators lurking in the underbrush. It became a loyal companion, quick to outwit those who sought to harm them. Their path led them to a mighty river, its currents wild and unyielding. There they found a hawk, its wing broken and feathers soaked. Kofi scooped the trembling bird from the water and fashioned a splint for its wing. Grateful, the hawk spoke, "I owe you my life. When I am strong again, I will be your eyes in the sky." True to its word, the hawk soared above them, spotting dangers from afar and guiding their steps. In time, they reached a treacherous ravine where a mighty elephant had fallen, its leg trapped by a boulder. Kofi and the fox worked tirelessly to free the creature, straining against the stone until, at last, it rolled aside. The elephant, towering and strong, trumpeted its thanks. "I am in your debt," it declared. "I shall carry you through lands too harsh for human feet." Together, Kofi and his newfound friends forged ahead, their bond growing stronger with each challenge. They became a family of sorts, united by trust and loyalty. But even the strength of their bond would be tested when they arrived at the foot of Mount Zuma. Mount Zuma loomed high above, its peak lost in swirling mists. Legends spoke of treacherous paths, fierce winds, and creatures of darkness that guarded the way. Kofi knew that this would be his greatest test. With determination etched into every step, he began the climb, his companions by his side. The ascent was brutal. Jagged rocks tore at his hands, and the air grew thin and cold. Halfway up the mountain, the ground trembled as the mighty eagle unleashed its first trial. A swarm of bees, their stingers sharp and deadly. The sky darkened with their buzzing fury. But Kofi remembered the wisdom of the elders. He quickly gathered leaves and kindling, lighting a fire that sent smoke billowing into the air. The bees, confused and repelled, scattered. As they pressed on, the mountain tested them again. Black clouds gathered, and a storm broke loose. Rain lashed at them, and winds howled like spirits of old. The fox led Kofi to a narrow crevice for shelter. But the storm showed no mercy. It threatened to tear them from the mountainside. Holding tightly to the rock, Kofi sang songs of courage passed down from his ancestors, songs that spoke of endurance, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of their people. His voice carried over the winds, and gradually the storm relented. Exhausted but resolute, Kofi emerged to face the mighty eagle itself. The creature stood tall, its wings spread wide, casting a shadow over the peak. Its eyes glowed with a light that seemed to pierce through Kofi's soul. "You seek the golden feather?" the eagle demanded, its voice a rumble of thunder. "I do," Kofi replied, kneeling respectfully, "not for greed, but to prove my worth." The eagle's gaze was fierce. "Then you must earn it with wisdom. Answer these riddles, or be cast from this mountain." The first riddle: "I am not alive, but I grow. I have no lungs, but I need air. What am I?" Kofi paused, then answered, "Fire." The eagle nodded, its eyes narrowing. The second riddle: "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" "An echo," Kofi replied confidently. Again, the eagle nodded. The third and final riddle was the most challenging. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Kofi's mind raced. He thought of the stories and laughter shared in his village. "A joke," he said. The mighty eagle let out a powerful screech, but then dipped its head. "You have proven yourself, mortal," it said, plucking a radiant golden feather from its wing and handing it to Kofi. "Use it with honor." Kofi descended Mount Zuma with the golden feather clutched tightly in his hand. The journey home was long, but he was strengthened by his victory and the loyal friends who had stood by his side. When he reached the gates of the kingdom, the people erupted in cheers. News of his triumph had spread far and wide. King Obafemi, who had watched Kofi's journey with cautious hope, now welcomed him with open arms. "You have shown not only bravery, but wisdom, compassion, and perseverance," the king declared. "You are truly worthy of my daughter." Princess Amina stepped forward, her eyes bright with admiration and gratitude. She placed her hand in Kofi's, and together they stood before their people as a symbol of true love and honor. The kingdom celebrated their union with feasting, music, and dance. Kofi and Amina ruled with kindness and strength, teaching all that the greatest treasures in life come not from wealth, but from the courage to face challenges and the wisdom to learn from them. Their tale was passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it that love, courage, and unity could overcome any obstacle.